Hi, Bother Brigade. Here's what's bothering me today. We kind of need to talk about the Supreme Court again because I'm just finding out now that they apparently run a blog on Twitter and they have some very interesting things to say about the whole Roe v. Wade thing. It's impossible to overstate the earthquake this will cause inside the court in terms of the destruction of trust among the justices and staff. This leak is the gravest, most unforgivable sin. I am sorry, what? You mean to tell me that this leak is somehow the worst thing and not, say, the behavior and beliefs of some of the judges, past and present, and their rulings that have affected all Americans? This is the most unforgivable sin. Rather than any instance of sexual abuse, lying under oath, not knowing what you're talking about with regards to the Constitution. Like, let's be real here. Those are worse than a document being leaked. But don't worry, folks. The Supreme Court is taking this matter very seriously, to the point that they're investigating it. Justin, the Supreme Court confirms the authenticity of the draft opinion revealed last night by Politico. The Chief Justice has ordered an investigation into the leak. This is that classic case of, I'm sorry, but it's not that they're actually genuinely sorry. They're sorry that they got caught. And in this case, it's even worse because I'm going to find who decided to tattle on me and I'm going to beat their ass. So the weirdest thing about this to me is the fact that the Supreme Court is investigating this rather than say, I don't know, a myriad of other more worthwhile things to investigate in their fellow justices. So Chief Justice Roberts orders an investigation into the Roe v. Wade leak, but not an investigation into Justice Thomas protecting his wife, and not an investigation into Kavanaugh's debt relief, and thinks the court wasn't compromised before. Got it. It is absolutely bizarre and surreal that the Supreme Court has decided to investigate this, rather than, again, what we just talked about, and, Kavanaugh's allegations of sexual abuse and assault, Clarence Thomas's own allegations of sexual assault and harassment, plus his wife actually being, tied to the insurrection on January 6th, trying to overthrow the democratically elected government of the United States. Maybe that's kind of a problem with the legitimacy of the court. And Amy Coney Barrett was in that really weird Catholic cult or whatever it was. But no, apparently this leak has ruined the legitimacy of the court. Never mind all the other justices who have done a perfectly bang-up job ruining the legitimacy of the court itself already. And I think it was Justice Kagan who said a while ago, not sure when, but she had said at some point that it's up to the Supreme Court to basically manage its own legitimacy, because if they don't do that, then no one's going to listen to them or respect them, which is a problem for the rule of law, right? It's also kind of flying in the face of what I was arguing yesterday about how doing this basically sets the terrible, awful precedent that rights can be rescinded in America. And most people would agree that's a bad thing. But here's the Supreme Court full of justices, one of whom doesn't actually know how the Constitution works. So, good times all around, right? But the leak is what's damaging the legitimacy, apparently. And here's the thing, right? The legitimacy of the Supreme Court, and I'm kind of attacking it right now, but it has been attacked before by people on the left and the right, and it's clear that the Supreme Court and many other people are not heeding Kagan's warnings. Remember the Trump cultists, how before, when shortly after people like Gorsuch and Kavanaugh and Barrett were appointed to the Supreme Court, and when they didn't always give Trump his way and what he wanted, you had Trump cultists saying, what, how dare they? They need to reward him, and if not, we should string him up outside the Capitol and hang them. Like, that is how bad some people were thinking about the Supreme Court on the right when it didn't suit their needs. And now, of course, right now, people are understandably upset. I'm with you there in solidarity. But it's, again, the same core concept of Supreme Court bad, doesn't know what it's doing, setting bad precedent. And also what I'm doing right now is very much attacking the character and credibility of no less than 3 justices, a full third of the Supreme Court. But again, to return to Kagan's warning, if the Supreme Court doesn't actually kind of police itself in this way, then people are going to be inclined to listen to their rulings and are going to just keep doing things anyway. Because, well, why bother listening to them? We clearly see how they're corrupt, ineffective, don't know what they're doing. Rights can be rescinded anyway, so we should reject entirely out of hand the Supreme Court. That is all very dangerous, considering the Supreme Court is one of the 3 pillars of typically some kind of Western democracy. You have an executive branch of some kind, then you have the legislative branch of some kind, and then you have the Supreme Court of some kind. They number, like in terms of the number of justices and their power and influence. Sure, it varies and it makes for a lot of imperfect democracies, but generally speaking, those are the three branches of government that people usually rely on to maintain a sense of law and order and the legitimacy of the state. If people, again, regardless of left or right divide, decide to, not accept the legitimacy of one of those three pillars, the house becomes unstable. The nation becomes unstable. The rule of law becomes unstable. What goes into that void? Nothing good. But hey, I guess they were just so eager to, use language that would not only overturn Roe v. Wade, but also set back a lot of other hard-fought gains and rights from the past little while and rescind them. So, get rid of gay marriage, get rid of interracial marriage, make it illegal for trans people to exist. All of these things that the Supreme Court can just rescind. And then in the future, if it becomes democratic, if, it survives that long, or if Biden decides to pack the court or something, or a future president decides to do that, then they just kind of pass more things. And with the precedent of, we've clearly seen that we can rescind rights, so let's just keep doing that. And that only adds to the further delegitimization of what's supposed to be a major pillar of functioning society. None of this is good, and yet it's not part of the discussion and the conversation. Instead, it's about how, this is a travesty that this leak happened. We're going to investigate the leak, rather than Clarence Thomas's wife for trying to aid and abet a coup in America, for Amy Coney Barrett being part of a Christian cult, and Kavanaugh just being a trash human being, among other terrible reasons. No, this is what's hurting the legitimacy of the court. This is what we need to focus on. This is the travesty, not the further erosion of rights in America and setting terrible precedents that said rights can be rescinded. The fact that these are not part of the greater narrative right now, when they absolutely should be, is definitely what's bothering me today.